Good morning. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this Monday morning. I am Vanessa Cole, a leadership development coach, and I help leaders build teams that don't depend on them for everything. So, this morning, I just really want to encourage you today. I'm going to start out with something that I think a lot of leaders need to hear. I want to say it really gently for you. If everything in your organization feels like it depends on you, it might not be you. It might be what you have built. And I'm not saying that to be critical. I'm saying it because there is a difference. And that difference, it changes everything about how you lead and how your organization grows. So stay with me today because I want to help you see that clearly. Now, here's what's interesting. When you go back to scripture, you see this pattern over and over again. Moses wasn't the problem. He was a great leader, but he hadn't structured leadership yet. See, he's a leader, but he hadn't structured leadership. And it was his father in law, Jethro, who looked at it and he said, hey, this isn't sustainable. So then you get into Acts 6, and the early church isn't failing, and the people aren't the problem. They just needed role clarity. And once they got it, things begin to move. And then Paul lays it all out in 1 Corinthians 12. The body works because every part knows its function, not because one part does everything. So here's what I want you to see in all of that. It's not always a people problem. A lot of the time, it's a structure problem. And here's where it gets a little frustrating as a leader because you know that your team is capable, you believe in them, but they keep coming back to you for everything. Not because they need to know how to do the work, they know how to do it, but because they're not clear on what they own. And so what happens? You stay involved just to keep things moving. And little by little, without even realizing it, you've become the system. Let that land for a second. You didn't mean for it to happen, but you are now the thing that everything runs through. And this is where a lot of leaders get stuck. And honestly, this is the part that no one talks about. You have good people, you trust your people, but everything still finds its way back to you. And it's not because your team isn't capable, it's because clarity hasn't been fully established. There is a difference between handing something off and truly transferring ownership. And most leaders hand things off, but they don't define what ownership actually looks like. So let's fix that. Here's what I want you to do this week, and this is practical. So grab a pen or make a note in your phone, however you want to do it. Think of one area, just one. Where is your team keep coming back to you? What area is that? Now, instead of handing it off again, I want you to define these three things. Okay. I want you to find these three things, define them before we actually hand them off. The first is own it. That's the first thing. And I call this ownership clarity filter. First, own it. What do they own? What do they personally, fully own? Not kind of own, not check with me first. What is fully theirs? They need to know it. And then the second thing, decide it. Decide it. It's very important. What decisions can they make without you? How can they move forward without you? What's inside their authority where they don't need your approval? You've written that down? Okay. So now, are you ready for number three? All right, let's move to 3. The third one is escalated. When should it come back to you? What are the specific situations where you actually need to be in the loop and why you need to be in the loop? So write all of this down, share it with them, own it, decide it, and escalate it. Because here's the thing, clarity given verbally fades, but clarity given in writing sticks. And when your team knows exactly what they own, they stop coming back for permission and they start moving with confidence. So let me leave you with this. When clarity increases, dependency decreases. That's not just the leadership principle, that's the design, the entire design. And that's what we see in scripture. That's what real healthy leadership looks like. And when you build that kind of clarity in your structure, leadership starts to move without everything running through you. If you are ready to build that, whether that's through coaching, a workshop, or having me come speak to your team, you can find all of this information at thewayleadership.com. You don't have to keep carrying what was never meant to depend on you alone. All right, let's go and build something strong, something healthy. Let's go build a great leadership structure. I am Vanessa Cole with The Way Leadership. You can find me at thewayleadership.com. You showed up. You learned. Now go lead like you mean it. Teach it, coach it, release it. I'm Vanessa Cole, and we don't just grow leaders here, we multiply them.